out tonight, can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight?
Welcome to Record-ology.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Today we take a look at this wonderful, beautiful, historic record. I have not yet listened to it. We shall do that together. I wanted to give you a little history on this record. This is again a 10-inch LP. This is a Columbia release, and as such, based on what I've been learning from you guys and online, these are going to be 1950s. This particular one is 1952. There's a 1954 edition as well, but a quick Discog search of CL 6207 reveals this is the first issue of this. 1952 is monaural, and as somebody pointed out to me recently, hearkening back to the format war between Columbia's 12-inch LP format and RCA's 45 RPM format, that little format war dealio, Columbia was still claiming their rights over the LP nomenclature, and as you can see down here, LP is actually a trademark. So you will not see, and I did not know this until recently, RCA 12-inch long playing records having the indicator of LP. They will say long playing, but they will not say LP. At least none that I've found so far. So to whomever educated me in that regard, thank you so much. It was very enlightening and interesting. Now, from an artistic standpoint, old Harry James is sort of a titan in the big band world. He got his start in the big leagues playing with Benny Goodman. In fact, he was present at the famous 1937 Benny Goodman Carnegie Hall concert, which is a fantastic album, highly, highly recommended. Then he branched out, starting his own orchestra, where he hired a young male singer from Hoboken, many of us know as Frank Sinatra. But that's a separate story for a separate day. He went on to great fame, playing a number of venues for many, many years, and was still very established in the sort of post-World War II big band, slightly less popular, but still significantly popular world of the 1950s. Things had definitely shifted by that time. One thing I like to point out about Harry James is when Glenn Miller went into the Army Air Corps and started his, service to our country then, he was very successful in the Chesterfield radio show, and he appeared there regularly. When he had resigned that position, he chose Harry James to take over, and that shows you the high regard that Glenn Miller had for Harry James. And Glenn had a couple of bands that he had helped fund and start. So you'd think he would have picked one of those, but no, he picked Harry James. And I think Harry James was probably more surprised than anybody else. All right, enough about that. So there is always a Glenn Miller tie-in. There's another one as well. One of the songs on here, Serenade in Blue, is from the Glenn Miller Orchestra Wives movie. And so we're going to listen to some of this music. This particular pressing is in pretty dang good condition. I've got the record over here on the Victrola already. I did give it a cleaning because I felt guilty about playing such a dusty record the other day. And I'm like, you know what? We need to have a clean record. So here we have it today. It does have some scratches, but not bad. So I expect this to sound pretty good. Like a lot of these Columbia 10-inchers, this thing is thick. I mean, this is the equivalent to 180 gram pressing thickness. Obviously, it won't weigh that because it's only 10 inches, not 12. But it is a beautiful, hefty record, a gorgeous label design. I love the long playing micro groove and their prominent logo. Thank you very much. We own that. You could just see that. Soft lights, sweet trumpet, Harry James and his orchestra. And there is some good copy on the back there about the Harry James sweet signature sound of his trumpet. So let us listen to some music, shall we? And this is 33 RPM. We'll dip into each of these 4 tracks. One thing I think is interesting on this record, you'll see instead of saying track 1, track 2, it says band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4. That doesn't mean like a musical band. That means these bands on the record. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So just some different nomenclature there. But let's go ahead and give it a listen. And I have to be pretty minimal about how much I play because the whole copyright thing, and yes, this will absolutely trigger a content ID. Good fidelity. It's got good fidelity. It's a good mono record with a lot of detail in those grooves still. And one more. Let's see if I get lucky and don't have to edit this. I get lost in it. It's just beautiful music. And we'll leave it at that in terms of the playing. If you are not familiar with Harry James, but you like big band music, give it a listen. It is one of my second tier big bands, in my opinion. He had an amazing vocalist by the name of Kitty Kalin, who did some of my favorite female vocalists or vocal work from the big band era. So I would definitely look that up if you're, just kind of dipping your toe into different big bands. I would, just look online and just see, do some greatest hit searches and stuff on YouTube. When it comes to big bands other than Glenn Miller, I sort of have a cursory appreciation for most of them, where I would buy like greatest hits albums and things of that nature. But besides Glenn Miller, I don't usually go deep catalog on many other big bands. I have a lot of greatest hits stuff. There are a couple of bands that I have a little bit more detailed things on, like Benny Goodman, but it's all just fantastic, fantastic music. So again, this is was in the bargain bin. It was like, a throwaway item, and a little bit of digging, we find out the CL6207 is special. It's a first edition, and 1952, this is a piece of history that we can not only read about, but we can hold in our hands. We can appreciate and collect the artwork, we can display the artwork, and we can listen to the music. So to me, I think that's a fantastic, fantastic thing. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I want to just throw this out there real quickly. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe. Still, the majority of our audience is unsubscribed, which tells me one of two things. One, people are discovering the channel and watching it as it's being served up in their suggested feed. If that's the case, welcome. You found a safe place for enjoying records and not being degraded for owning a record player like this that's entry level. We look at higher end stuff, but we have no problem with entry level stuff, and we call it like we see it. It also tells me that a lot of you may do me a favor and just hit that subscribe button. That would really mean a lot to me. And you'll get all the notifications when we go live, when we do giveaways and stuff. I've got a hankering for a live coming up soon. I've got some major news to share with you in the next week or so. I'm so excited to do that, and you're not going to, get all of that information if you're not subscribed. So consider hitting the subscribe button. And to everybody who's donated to our virtual tip jar via the Buy Me a Coffee link, thank you for that as well. But mostly just thanks for watching this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you have this, if you've seen it, what your thoughts are on Harry James, all that good stuff. But that's going to do it for now, guys. Happy record hunting. We will see you tomorrow.